Hello, hello. It's the one and only. We're here. It's 5D Transformations, and I wanted to do this video, another MBTI video. We're going to talk about two really amazing types, the ENFJ and the INFJ, and compare those two a bit. So, when we talk about ENFJs and INFJs, what you'll notice is with each pair, where they have, where you have an extroverted and introverted type, but they share a lot of the same, cognitive functions. You'll notice they have a lot of similarities they both share. And in the case of those two types, both types are they're forces. They're a force. One thing about them, man, they both are very deep types, very intelligent, naturally leaders. They're naturally leaders. Even INFJs, they're just quiet leaders, but they're still leaders. And even if they don't lead, they still follow their own kind of path. They're on their own journey. Both are adventurous, actually. You'll be surprised how adventurous they can be. And more so chasing an ideal, chasing a belief, chasing a passion, is something that they have. Both types have a rational side to them, very much so. And both types have that extroverted sensing where, they both have a groundedness. They still are aware of their environment. They have that's where their toughness comes from. They are very much in the physical world still. With SE, they're definitely in the physical world. And they kind of operate more, from a place of focusing on maximizing on their environment. Very much so. And both types are visionaries as well. So when you bring up all these similarities, what is it about them that's different, because aside from the fact that one's extroverted, one's introverted, okay. One is more talkative, one's more quiet. But that's one thing you'll notice between the two, ENFJs are more so, their presence is going to be felt in the environment. You're going to know that they're there. They're going to be very communicative. They're the type of people to just talk to you, open a conversation. They're curious. And they have a thing where they want their presence to be felt. And it's very subtle. It's natural, but it's very natural, but you just notice them. They shine to stand out in an environment. And they tend to be leaders in their own right, at least the leader of their own, making, whatever they're trying to create, they're the leader of that. Now, on the other end, with the INFJs, they're much more reserved. And then as if you put attention on them, that's when you get all of the stuff that the ENFJ will give you. It comes out from them, but it has to be activated. You have to talk to them. There has to be a good communication connection going. And then they open up there. Also, when we talk about INFJs, in terms of what's different from ENFJs, is they tend to not be as abrasive in the environment. They're not as much, they tend to blend in. Now, what they prefer to do is to create their own settings where they invite friends and have gatherings, and that's where they shine. That's where you see the extroverted energy, the leadership. They're very good at putting something really nice together. One thing about extroverted feeling is that extroverted feeling is very sensitive to the environment. It's very much paying attention to how the environment is feeling, whether that's people, whether that's a space, a home, a mall. I had a friend that has extroverted feeling once say that it's so sensitive to the environment that if things are, unorganized when they walk into a mall, or they feel this thing like, man, it should be clean. Like they should they should fix this thing, because they're so sensitive to the environment that they can even feel that. And I'm like, wow, I don't even notice that. I'm just doing what I'm doing. So when you're that sensitive to the environment, you can just imagine how that life is. I mean, you begin to be tapped into so much. You get so much insight. You can see so much. And, you know, that's why when they're in these intimate environments, they really get to shine. They're with people they care about. They feel connected. They feel like, you know, that's the space where they can shine. Outside of that, they still have a very quiet confidence and strength, but is very much contained more than the ENFJ, you know. Another big difference is I think ENFJs generally are going to be your types to still, because they have more extroverted sensing, that's their third function instead of their fourth. They're more so the people that are going to still probably play sports or do more sensory activities. You know, they might do jujitsu or kickboxing or something physical to keep them stimulated, or they might like to work out, you know, and things like that, you know. They're definitely going to like to use their hands and things like that, as well as use their mind. ENFJs have an amazing balance of doing both. I mean, ENFJs are really special minds because they have the introverted intuition that can hone in on an idea, but they have this extroverted feeling that can get people behind it, that can communicate it well to people, that can, and it's a vision generally that's related to people, because extroverted feeling is connection with people. So they're generally pushing an ideal forward for the people, and it's generally well intentioned. You know, in most cases, it's generally well intentioned. So, you know, with INFJs, they'll generally have a vision too in a way that they want to help, but it will be more so. They'll generally do it through a channel, like they'll do something to help the world, but it won't be predicated on them being at the forefront as much as an ENFJ. They're more so gonna want to help a cause or be, you know, help create a foundation or create a business to help or create awareness or videos, you know, or they'll go out, you know, they'll find ways to really always help, and that's what both types share. They'll just do it differently. Your ENFJs are gonna be out there in the front lines doing the work. Your INFJs are generally going to be more creating the systems and structures to help people, because they have introverted intuition as their first function. So they're very good at being able to solve patterns, being able to see how you can push things forward. Both types are always moving forward. They're not going backwards. They're very forward functions. Introverted intuition is always going forward. Extroverted sensing is maximizing on the moment. So they're either maximizing on their environment or they're moving forward. They have that introverted thinking as well, which drives you forward in thought, always trying to solve and problem solve. So you get the combination of trying to problem solve toward one vision at a time. And I mean, come on. I mean, that has success written all over it. You know, that has productivity written all over it. As long as they have the right environment around them, that's very important. They have to have a good support system. If they're isolated, if they're alone, if they don't have support, if they feel ostracized, misunderstood, you know, things can get tough. And then also, here's something that both types need to be aware of. You have that introverted thinking and that introverted intuition, so you can get locked in on one direction. You know, so you really want to make sure to always, you know, both types have a natural confidence. They're probably two of the most naturally confident types, you know, next to, you know, I'd say ESTPs, your ISTPs, ENTJ, you know, like which can, you know, they're confident types. And for their type, they're very good because their confidence doesn't come off as much as arrogance, because they have that extroverted feeling. So they're still sensitive to the environment, but they're very confident. And so just always beware to, if people are giving you feedback, still take that into account and just be balanced. Because some types I would tell, be more assertive, be more, you know, trust yourself more. With the ENFJs and INFJs, I would still say, of course, trust yourself, do it more. But with those types, you got to balance it with really taking into account what other people think is a good way to balance every now and then for you, because extroverted thinking is a lower function for both of your types. So very much you can really trust what you think and not really care too much about what other people think. But what you got to realize is that sometimes you'll have a blind spot that you'll be missing, and sometimes it can be a situation where you don't want to come off in a situation where you're missing data or you're overconfident to the point where, you know, people feel like their voices can't be heard and things like that, you know. And generally, you know, with that in mind, those, you know, those types generally are gonna keep people's thoughts in mind. I mean, they're very sweet people, and you know, that's big. So I can go deeper, man. I could definitely go deeper with this type. You know, especially when we talk about extroverted feeling and the sensitivity of extroverted feeling and that experience of how it works. We'll go into that in another video, but that's the video right there for both types. If you like it, man, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna be dropping some more videos for you all. And aside from that, I appreciate you all listening. If you want to reach out to me, you can go to your5dtransformations@gmail.com. And aside from